Well, I reviewed all of the Channel Awesome movies, so I suppose it's only fair that I take a look at the ones made by the obviously vastly superior former members of Channel Awesome.
And I'm here to join you.
Oliver Peace? The wrestler? Who hosts this YouTube channel that you should go and subscribe to? Why are you here?
See, I used to do movie reviews too, kind of like the people in this project, so that's why I'm here to check this out. No other ulterior motive whatsoever.
How exciting!
Nerdquest tells the story of John, played by Film Brain, who for some reason can't hold a bottle of beer properly.
His name is Matthew Buck.
Film Brain. His name is Film Brain.
And he's here to
He takes his mates, one of which looks like Simon Pegg Light, to a role-playing session with a bunch of nerds, including Welshie, Guru Larry, and... Wait, that guy looks kind of familiar.
Really? I can't imagine where from.
Nah, beats me. Anyway.
Wow, I'm impressed.
But during this role-playing game, it turns into a very real run for their lives as they are chased by masked cloaks with deadly swords.
So, Suburban Knights. I mean, this guy quite literally plays the same character as Linkara. But this time, it's actually funny. All of the cloaks resemble the Nazgul rip-offs from Suburban Knights, even stealing direct jokes.
You're supposed to be a fantasy character. I am a fantasy character. Look, last time you checked, were there any real Batman running around?
And the battle scene is even the same, but with less actors. It's Suburban Knights.
What's Suburban Knights?
Piss off.
Written and directed by, at the time, Channel Awesome's own Mike Jevons, funding was done solely through Indiegogo, raising just over £13,000 for the project.
Nerdquest was released on January 20th, 2014 and was pretty well received by fans of Mike Jevons, loving the humour and goofy style.
It's been 3 years since Dad.
Yeah, well, I suppose we can't hold on to the past forever.
Tell that to change the channel.
What's changed the channel?
Piss off.
I will say, the acting from the group at the start is a bit questionable. I mean, sometimes it's good, other times it's not. It's very hit and miss. Oh well, they do have some pretty funky music. And then a very accurate depiction of men hanging out.
Let's drink to the absence of women!
Hey! Hey, let's drink to blatant misogyny! Yay!
What's Lord Quest? It's a LARP group. What the hell is LARP? Live action roleplay. Roleplay.
Sounds gay.
I love that line. It just comes across as so needlessly angry. Except they do reuse the same joke a few times throughout the film, so by the end of it, it just does come across as really homophobic.
Lord Quest. More like Gaylord Quest.
It's always tricky to film inside a car on a budget, but they do actually find a creative way to get around it, as they're all YouTubers, so they're simply just vlogging. That's the thing, the movie is very clearly low budget, but it's just fun and pretty harmless. However, when they reach the location, there's some whimsical music in the background, but it lasts the entire scene, and it does become quite tedious and annoying after a while. And then once it finally does end, it kicks back in again. Stop it! Although it is pretty funny as one of them dresses as the Dark Knight instead.
He doesn't even use guns. Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. And besides, you're supposed to be using a medieval fantasy weapon. It is a fantasy weapon. It's a magic gun.
Hey, don't you laugh. Linkara has one, you know.
Who's Linkara?
Piss off.
So when they meet up with the nerds and... Wait a minute! Oliver, that's you!
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is me. Well, I mean, at least this movie has now just gotten a hell of a lot more serious with some much-needed credibility. And not to mention sex appeal.
Well, what was it like?
Oh, funny you should ask, Rob. It's a rather simple affair. I found where Mike lives. I went over to his residence and I said, Mike, you're going to put me in this Nerdquest movie, I'm going to skull rape you, bitch.
But the important question is, did Mike give the cast water and make sure that they were in all of the previous shots?
Now you mention it, I'm not sure there was bottles of water provided. Well, this is just, I think years after the fact, I need to make a huge stink about this. While I'm at it, let's get in touch with everyone on this production. And let's complain about other things too, and let's compile all our grievances into one big document that we'll release on the internet.
Indeed.
Although I have to say, dude, when you guys win the battle, you dancing your heart out here is hilarious.
Those were my finest moves, I'll have you know.
Before Mike gives his only appearance in quite possibly one of the funniest cameos I have ever seen.
Do not dismiss me when I address you. Oh.
In fact, I've always said it, I love Mike J's sense of humour, and it really shows here.
Who's there?
Stop playing knock-knock jokes with the murderer.
Who said anything about a murderer?
That's not possible. If we were back where we started, then Gorath's body would be right there. Oh.
This. I am not being killed by a ginger.
The makeup even looks pretty solid as he gets injured. It looks great. Although we see a severed eye, which looks really cheesy, and severed fingers, which look like they were bought from Poundland.
Should I feel bad that I wish I'd recorded that? I could have got 250 quid from You've Been Framed easy.
A You've Been Framed reference? In 2014? I mean, I know it was still on the air, but just a bit dated, really. There are times when the camera's really shaky and there doesn't seem to be a steady cam or tripod or anything, but weirdly the audio quality is still really good and a lot better than any of the other movies that the other producers would end up making. I mean, they're filming out in the middle of nowhere in the woods and the audio quality is great, so even when the tracking shots are crap and a bit shaky, it almost doesn't even matter because the characters and performances are so entertaining you don't care. And I have to say, Filmbrain's acting is really good in this. He's tested a lot more as a performer. Towards the end, he gets to be a lot more intense and emotional than we've normally seen him. He's come a long way as an actor. Yeah, except when they're trying to make him look like a badass, which really doesn't work.
Then I shall have to battle you.
Oliver here gets stabbed, which looks pretty good, but the collapse is really botched in the editing. They cut at the wrong time. Funny reaction though.
This is not funny! I just died!
Sorry.
Whatever.
Despite the ridiculousness of the plot and the dumb comedy, it does genuinely have some creepy moments as they all suspect Larry for being the killer, before he too gets offed, which looks pretty cool. There's a really creepy shot as Filmbrain gives a monologue about his dead dad and one of the killers lurks around in the background, which they try to do again, but I mean, how does he not see him? Don't all people flip the LSD screen around to see themselves when vlogging, or is that just me? Awesome way to kill him creatively yet cheaply though. There's also this nerdy guy who is basically just me.
New people!
I also think the movie is paced really well. It's only just a little over an hour and a decent amount of stuff happens during that time. It turns out Filmbrain's dad was actually killed at one of these things and he still decided to bring his mates along to one anyway. Bit of a dick move.
Oh, here he comes! Where's his costume? I don't know. Why don't you ask him? Oh God, he's getting closer.
Oh, will you stop pointing out the...
Who are you, the narrator?
Oh, very good movie, very good. Before a very abrupt ending. So after all of this build-up of... Revenge! Filmbrain dies, Simon Pegg's son makes the save, and... it's over! That's it! Before I think Diamanda Hagen has a cameo after the credits. And to be fair, she does get a funny line.
Well, that was
Nerdquest is actually pretty good.
Well, of course it is. I am in it.
It's short, but effective. It's cheap, but charming. You can sense the passion behind it, everyone's having a blast, and although the budget is minuscule, it's just so much fun to watch, and the comedy is brilliant. Nerdquest is a whole lot of fun.
See, I used to do movie reviews too, sort of like... Because oh my god, I can't behave myself.